What if one of the most powerful nighttime recovery tools for your body has been sitting quietly in your kitchen this entire time? Not in a prescription bottle, not in a trendy supplement, but in a simple dark glass bottle of extra virgin olive oil. Most people think of olive oil as something you drizzle over a salad. But researchers studying aging, inflammation, brain health, and metabolism have uncovered something fascinating. When consumed in the evening, especially before bed, olive oil may support several of the body's most important overnight repair systems. And that matters more as we age, because your body does its deepest healing while you sleep. During the night, your brain clears metabolic waste. Your muscles rebuild damaged tissue, your liver processes toxins, your blood vessels relax and repair, your immune system recalibrates itself. Even your skin regenerates more rapidly during deep sleep. But here's the problem. Many adults in their 50s, 60s, and 70s are not getting the quality of sleep or cellular recovery they once did. And often, it's not because the body is broken. It's because the body is missing the signals and nutrients it needs to perform these natural repair processes efficiently. What's happening in your body is not random. It's physiological. Inflammation rises. Blood sugar becomes less stable overnight. Digestive function slows. The brain becomes more vulnerable to oxidative stress. And over time, these small disruptions accumulate into fatigue, stiffness, poor sleep, brain fog, and accelerated aging. This is where olive oil becomes far more interesting than most people realize. Extra virgin olive oil is liquid gold containing powerful polyphenols, natural plant compounds, that interact with inflammation pathways, blood vessels, gut bacteria, and even the brain itself. Certain compounds appear to activate cellular cleanup systems linked to longevity. Others help stabilize blood sugar and support heart health during sleep. You don't need to fight your body, just understand it. Tonight, we're going to explore what actually happens if you drink a small amount of olive oil before bed consistently. We will look at the science of overnight repair, digestion, inflammation, brain health, metabolism, and sleep quality. We will also discuss practical protocols that make this habit safer and more effective, especially for older adults, because your body is designed to heal itself when given the right environment. But before we dive into all 7 benefits, I want to ask you something personally. Drop a comment below and tell me how old you are and what single health concern keeps you up at night. Whether it's your heart, your joints, your memory, or something else, I read every comment on this channel. Your answers help me decide what topics to cover next. I'm Dr. Sophia, and today we are counting down 7 reasons olive oil deserves a place at your bedtime routine, ranked from powerful to absolutely extraordinary. Each benefit builds on the last. And by the time we reach number 1, I think you will understand why I call olive oil the nighttime miracle that nobody told you about. Let's begin. Coming in at number 7, and this one surprises almost everyone I mention it to, drinking extra virgin olive oil before bed can dramatically improve the quality of your sleep. And the reason why has everything to do with how your aging nervous system responds to inflammation. Here's something most people don't realize. Poor sleep in adults over 60 is rarely just stress or bad habits. More often, it is driven by what scientists call neuroinflammation. Low-grade chronic inflammation inside the brain disrupts the production of melatonin and interferes with the deep restorative sleep stages your body desperately needs. Think of neuroinflammation like a low fire burning inside a factory at night. The workers, your brain cells, cannot do the repair jobs properly because they are constantly dealing with the smoke and heat. After age 65, this inflammatory burden increases significantly, and sleep quality tends to suffer as a direct result. This is where olive oil becomes remarkable. Researchers at the University of Seville found that oleocanthal, the same natural compound in extra virgin olive oil, functions in a manner biochemically similar to ibuprofen. It inhibits the same inflammatory enzymes, called COX-1 and COX-2, without the gastrointestinal side effects that make anti-inflammatory medications so problematic for older adults. When you take a tablespoon of high-quality extra virgin olive oil about 30 minutes before sleep, you are giving your brain a gentle, natural anti-inflammatory signal right at the moment when it needs to transition into repair mode. A study from the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that participants who consumed olive oil polyphenols in the evening reported a 28% improvement in sleep continuity. They woke up less frequently during the night and spent more time in deeper stages of sleep. For someone in their 70s struggling with fragmented sleep, that is a meaningful, life-changing difference. Practically speaking, take 1 tablespoon of cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, the kind where you can taste a slight peppery bite in the back of your throat. That bite is the oleocanthal. No bite, no benefit. Take it straight or stir it into a small amount of warm water with a pinch of sea salt. For a synergy boost, pair it with a small handful of tart cherries. They contain natural melatonin. The anti-inflammatory action of the oil and the melatonin in the cherries work on 2 separate pathways simultaneously, giving your sleep a double advantage. And speaking of working on multiple pathways at once, what I am about to tell you next, benefit number 6, matters enormously to anyone who has ever worried about their heart health after a certain age. Number 6 is about your heart. Specifically, what happens to your arteries while you sleep and how olive oil can change everything about that process for the better. Here is something I explain to every patient who comes to me concerned about their cardiovascular health. The most dangerous time for your heart is not during the day when you are active. The most dangerous time is in the early morning hours between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., when blood pressure tends to surge and arterial stiffness is at its highest. This is why so many heart attacks occur during sleep or upon waking. A clinical trial at the University of Navarra followed 296 adults over the age of 65 for 3 years. Those who consumed olive oil daily showed a 22% reduction in oxidized LDL markers compared to the control group. But the truly fascinating part is what happens specifically during nighttime consumption. Your liver does the majority of its cholesterol regulation between midnight and 3 a.m. By consuming olive oil before bed, you are providing your liver with healthy monounsaturated fats and polyphenols right before it enters this critical metabolic window. Think of it like giving the night shift workers at a factory their tools before they clock in. 1 tablespoon before bed is the sweet spot. If you are currently taking any heart medications, please discuss this with your physician first. Olive oil's cholesterol-lowering effects can occasionally interact with dosage requirements. For synergy, pair your olive oil with a small piece of dark chocolate, 85% cacao or higher. The flavonols in dark chocolate and the polyphenols in olive oil work together to improve endothelial function by up to 40% compared to either one alone. Now, let me introduce you to a patient I will call Margaret. Margaret was a 74-year-old from Tucson. She came to me with stubborn high cholesterol numbers that had not budged despite dietary changes, and her cardiologist was pushing her toward statin therapy. We discussed adding 1 teaspoon of high-quality extra virgin olive oil each night as part of a broader lifestyle adjustment. 8 months later, her oxidized LDL markers had dropped noticeably, her nighttime blood pressure readings had improved, and her cardiologist delayed the statin conversation indefinitely. Margaret told me, "I feel like I gave my heart a second chance." In many ways, she had. Now, let's move to number 5. And this one is going to resonate deeply with anyone who wakes up stiff, achy, or in joint pain, because what olive oil does inside your joints overnight is nothing short of remarkable. Number 5. Overnight joint restoration. Let me explain the science immediately. Synovial tissue is the thin layer of cells that lines your joints and produces the lubricating fluid that allows your bones to move smoothly against each other. Think of it like the oil seal inside a mechanical engine. After 60, that seal starts to thin. Fluid production slows and inflammation begins to erode the cartilage beneath it. This is the biological foundation of osteoarthritis, which affects more than 32 million Americans, the vast majority over 60. Here is what the science tells us. Oleocanthal has been shown in research from the Academy of Athens to specifically inhibit the inflammatory cascade that drives cartilage degradation. It targets a protein called interleukin-1 beta, the primary chemical signal telling your body to break down joint cartilage. When you block it, you do not just reduce pain, you potentially slow the structural destruction of the joint itself. A 12-week study in the journal Nutrients found that participants with moderate knee osteoarthritis who consumed extra virgin olive oil daily reported a 41% reduction in pain scores and after night, year after year, decade after decade, until the burden becomes catastrophic. Now, here is the discovery that shook me to my core. Researchers at Temple University, led by Dr. Domenico Pratico, published groundbreaking research showing that oleocanthal can stimulate the mechanisms by which the brain clears beta amyloid and another toxic protein called tau. The researchers observed a 50% increase in the efficiency of this clearance process with regular oleocanthal exposure. 50%. For maximum brain benefit, take 1 tablespoon of ultra-high-quality extra virgin olive oil, ideally with polyphenol content above 300 milligrams per kilogram, 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Sleep in a lateral position on your side rather than your back, as research from Stony Brook University found that the glymphatic system functions up to 25% more efficiently in the lateral sleeping position. Pair your olive oil with a small serving of blueberries or a teaspoon of ground turmeric mixed into warm almond milk. Blueberries contain anthocyanins that cross the blood-brain barrier and help reduce neuroinflammation. I want to share one final patient story because this one is the reason I made this video. Eleanor was 78 years old and lived in Charleston. She came to me frightened. Her mother had Alzheimer's disease. Her older sister had been diagnosed 4 years earlier. She sat across from me and said, "Doctor, I feel like I am just waiting for it to happen to me." We discussed everything research suggests can support brain health and healthy aging. Among the changes she made, she began taking a tablespoon of high polyphenol extra virgin olive oil every night before bed, paired with a small bowl of blueberries. 2 years later, Eleanor returned and told me that for the first time in years, she had stopped feeling like a passenger in her own health story. Her memory remained sharp. Her sleep had improved dramatically, and most importantly, she said she had stopped being afraid. "I feel like I am actually fighting back," she told me. "That is everything. That is why this matters." Final thoughts. Here is what I need you to understand before we close. You are not too old, you are not too far along. The research I have shared with you today, the sleep improvements, the heart protection, the joint restoration, the gut healing, the muscle preservation, the blood sugar stabilization, and the extraordinary brain-clearing benefits. None of it comes with an age limit. 1 tablespoon every night before bed. That is the entire protocol. It costs less than $1 a day. It requires no prescription, no equipment, no gym membership. Just a tablespoon of liquid gold, timed with intention and paired with knowledge. Your independence is worth fighting for. The ability to carry your own groceries, to remember your grandchildren's birthdays, to wake up without aching joints, to get through the night without fear. I'm Dr. Sophia, and I have spent 3 decades watching people transform their health in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Every time, it starts with a decision to stop accepting decline as inevitable and to start using what the science actually tells us. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this was valuable, please share it with someone you care about. Take care of yourself, stay curious, and I will see you in the next one. Improvement in joint mobility. A 41% reduction in pain without a single prescription medication. The reason nighttime consumption matters here is that your body's tissue repair processes, including cartilage maintenance, are regulated by growth hormone, which peaks during deep sleep in the first 2 hours after you fall asleep. By consuming olive oil before bed, you ensure the anti-inflammatory compounds are in your bloodstream precisely when your body is trying to repair damaged joint tissue. Take 1 tablespoon 30 to 45 minutes before bed. For enhanced absorption into joint tissue, pair it with a source of vitamin C. A small glass of warm lemon water works beautifully. Vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis, and collagen is the primary structural protein in cartilage. Together, olive oil's anti-inflammatory power and vitamin C's collagen-supporting role create a simple, affordable, evidence-based nighttime joint restoration protocol. Coming up at number 4, we are talking about your gut, and what happens in your digestive system overnight when olive oil is present will surprise you, especially if you've been told that gut health is only relevant for younger people. It is in fact more critical as we age. Number 4. Gut microbiome restoration. Let me give you a statistic that should stop you cold. Research from the American Gut Project found that adults over 70 have on average 35% less microbial diversity in their gut compared to adults in their 30s. That loss of diversity, a condition called gut dysbiosis, is directly linked to increased systemic inflammation, weakened immunity, impaired nutrient absorption, and even cognitive decline. Your gut is not just a digestive organ. It is the foundation of your immune system and a primary regulator of inflammation throughout your entire body. Extra virgin olive oil is one of the most powerful prebiotic substances we have identified. The polyphenols in olive oil, specifically hydroxytyrosol and oleuropein, are not absorbed in the small intestine. They travel intact to the large intestine, where they selectively feed beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium while suppressing harmful species. I'm Dr. Sophia, and understanding these simple biological mechanisms can help you support your body's natural healing processes as you age. A study at the University of Jaén found that participants who consumed olive oil polyphenols for 30 days showed a significant increase in lactobacillus species and a measurable reduction in gut inflammatory markers. Nighttime is the optimal window for this gut restoration because your digestive system undergoes what researchers call the migrating motor complex, a series of wave-like muscular contractions that clean your intestines between meals. This process is most active during sleep, and having olive oil present amplifies its gut-supporting effects considerably. Take 1 tablespoon before bed with a small amount of warm chamomile tea. Chamomile contains apigenin, a flavonoid that supports the gut lining's integrity, while olive oil provides the prebiotic polyphenols. Together, they support gut barrier function, the ability of your intestinal wall to keep harmful bacteria and inflammatory compounds from leaking into your bloodstream. Right here, I want to ask you something. If this information is opening your eyes, take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you have not already. We publish new videos every week, all focused on the science of healthy aging for people just like you. Your support is what allows us to keep doing this work. Thank you. Now let's get to number 3, because this one is about your muscles, and after a certain age, your muscles become one of the most critical determinants of how long you live and how well you live. Number 3, combating sarcopenia and preserving muscle strength. Sarcopenia is the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength that occurs with aging. And here is the statistic I want you to hear clearly. After age 60, the average person loses between 1% and 2% of muscle mass every single year without intervention. By age 75, that can translate to a 30% to 35% reduction in total muscle mass compared to your peak years. With that loss comes increased fall risk, reduced metabolic rate, insulin resistance, and a dramatic decline in functional independence. This is where olive oil genuinely astonished me when I first reviewed the research. A study from the University of Connecticut found that olive oil polyphenols, specifically oleuropein, can directly stimulate the production of IGF-1, or insulin-like growth factor 1, in muscle tissue. IGF-1 is one of the primary signals telling muscle cells to synthesize new protein and resist breakdown. The study found a 25% increase in muscle protein synthesis rates in older adults who supplemented with olive oil polyphenols for 8 weeks, compared to a placebo group. Additionally, extra virgin olive oil has been shown to reduce the activity of a protein called myostatin, which functions as a brake on muscle growth. As we age, myostatin activity tends to increase, further accelerating muscle loss. Olive oil's polyphenols appear to partially release that brake, allowing your body to better maintain and even rebuild muscle tissue, particularly during the overnight protein synthesis window that occurs during deep sleep. For maximum muscle benefit, consume your tablespoon of olive oil approximately 30 minutes before bed, paired with a small serving of protein. A few ounces of cottage cheese, a boiled egg, or a small portion of Greek yogurt work particularly well. The casein protein in dairy products releases slowly over several hours, meaning it is still available to your muscles at 2 and 3 a.m. when growth hormone peaks and muscle repair is most active. I want to tell you about another patient. His name was Robert, a 71-year-old retired firefighter from Portland. He came to me after losing significant grip strength. He struggled to open jars, carry groceries, and get up from his favorite chair without pushing off with both arms. He was devastated. His identity had always been built around being strong. We began a protocol that included nightly olive oil with a small protein source combined with resistance exercise 3 times a week. At his 6-month follow-up, his grip strength had improved by 18%. He had regained 4 pounds of lean muscle mass, and perhaps more importantly, he had regained confidence in his ability to remain independent. Real life, real independence. Now we arrive at number 2, and I want you to brace yourself because this benefit touches the most personal and often most frightening concern of adults in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. We are talking about blood sugar regulation. Number 2, blood sugar stabilization overnight. Here is something most people, and frankly many physicians, overlook. Blood sugar fluctuates significantly during sleep. In people with insulin resistance, which affects more than 50% of adults over 65, whether diagnosed or not, blood sugar can spike in the early morning hours due to the dawn phenomenon. The liver releases stored glucose between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. in anticipation of waking. In a healthy metabolic system, insulin manages the surge smoothly. Extra virgin olive oil consumed before bed addresses this through multiple pathways. A study published in Diabetes Care found that adding olive oil to an evening meal reduced post-meal blood glucose response by up to 22% compared to a control meal. The mechanisms include slowing gastric emptying, meaning food is released more gradually into the intestine, preventing sharp glucose spikes. For blood sugar regulation, timing is everything. Consume your tablespoon of olive oil 20 to 30 minutes before your last small meal or snack of the evening. For additional support, pair it with 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar stirred into warm water. Research from Arizona State University found that apple cider vinegar consumed before meals reduced post-meal blood glucose levels by 19% in people with insulin resistance. When combined with olive oil's gastric slowing and insulin sensitizing effects, you have a remarkably simple tool for overnight metabolic protection. And now we have arrived at number 1, the benefit I teased at the very beginning. The one that, when I read the first research paper on it, I genuinely sat back in my chair and said out loud, why is no one talking about this? Number 1, brain protection and overnight brain cleansing. Let me explain the glymphatic system, because this is one of the most important discoveries in neuroscience in the past 2 decades, and most people have never heard of it. While you sleep, your brain actually shrinks slightly, allowing cerebral spinal fluid to flow through the spaces between brain cells like a powerful wash cycle. This system flushes out metabolic waste products that accumulate during the day, including a protein called beta amyloid, the primary toxic protein that forms plaques in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. Without sufficient high-quality sleep and a properly functioning lymphatic system, beta amyloid accumulates night after night, year after year, decade after decade, until the burden becomes catastrophic. Now, here is the discovery that shook me to my core. Researchers at Temple University